All right, now I'm going to talk about using the goal detail page to reach my fitness goal of breaking a world record in 2022. So if you go to the goal detail page, the first thing says is the goal summary, and it's where you write your SMARTer goal, which I talked about in the previous clip. Then you're going to put the domain. So in this case, the domain was going to be a physical domain because it's a physical activity, but also for me, a vocational because it's also a hobby of mine. So I checked off both of those domains. Key motivation, well, for one thing, as we get older, we want to have more muscle mass. So I was motivated to have that overall health goal. But I was also motivated by just the bragging rights of saying I've broken national and world records. The next section is next steps. So once we have established a goal, what do we need to do next? In my case, I went ahead and found some competitions because that was the next thing I need to do is decide when am I going to break these records, when am I going to qualify to go to the level where I can break records. And then I also had to make decisions as far as like which gym I was going to be doing my workouts in, and then booking things like personal trainer and like recovery, like massage, things like that. So my main next step was just finding those competitions and then getting in contact with a trainer to help me. And then the last part of this page, or next to last, is going to be your reward. So when I set the goal, I set a reward for getting professional photos taken because I never had a professional photo shoot. It turned out I did not end up doing the photo shoot. Just achieving that goal was the best reward possible for me. Just getting that certificate was a highlight for me. But it is good to have some goal to work towards. So you can say, when I do this, I get to splurge on something, or I get to have some kind of experience, or I get to celebrate in some kind of way. And then at the bottom of the page, we've got the streak tracker. So that's for habit goals. I did have some habits that I needed to work on in order to achieve the goal for breaking the record, which was a separate goal. But for example, like, keeping track of my macros and sticking to macros. So macros looking at protein, carbohydrates, and fat intake, because I had to make weight in order to compete in a certain group. So a streak tracker is good for something like that. Or if I wanted to track how often I was working out, like, maybe I'm inconsistent with my workouts, I could use that streak tracker and say, okay, I'm planning to work out 4 days a week, and then I mark that off and I can see how many weeks I've actually worked out 4 days that week. Or maybe the streak tracker is for sleep, and I want to track how many nights I get at least 7 hours of sleep. I can use it for that. Now, I will say I was using the older style of the planner. The new planner is a little bit different, but this is 2022, so I had the older style. But still, all these components are in the newer systems. It just might be in a different space. So that was the goal detail, and then the next video that I will do, I'll talk about routines and how routines can help you to reach your fitness goal. But again, bottom line for this one, once you've set your goal, have a plan. At the very least, know what your first steps are so that you can start taking those first steps and then making that progress. Stay tuned for the next clip.